Today is National Farmers Day here in Ghana. The 30th National Farmers Day celebration will be under the theme, Eat What You Grow. My colleague Ivy Jemfi has been speaking to some small-scale farmers.
Today being Farmers Day, I'm at a vegetable farm here at Kanda to talk to some of the farmers here to find out how business is going and what some of their challenges are. What are some of the plants that you grow?
The plants where I have there, lettuce, carrot, cucumber, ademe, sule, green grass. I have long grass, carpet grass. I have that one. All this is my work I'm doing.
How long have you done this?
18 years now.
Yeah. Okay, so how is business going?
But I can't tell say it's not going good. From woman be self, every day you wake up, you can see your body all right. Sometimes you can wake up, your head is pain you, your leg is pain you. If you saw the market day, sometimes it's going up, sometimes it's coming up, down.
How do you distribute your crops, your plants to your customers? Do they come here or you distribute them, you go to them and...
They are coming here.
They come here
to buy it.
Okay.
When you grow, so I go call them. You see the person where it's moving the lettuce. Yeah, my customer. When they grow like this, I go tell them they are come here to come buy and move and go.
Today is Farmers Day. What do you make of it? Do you understand it?
I understand Farmers Day. Me myself, I'm here because this is my work. How you see the best way I'm making. If you look your back for the wall side, you go see they make the best find. That place is a carrot where I put it. So me myself, last 3 years they give me an award because of this work. So today's chef, they are inviting me to come for Fadama for the Farmers Day. So I'm prepared to go there.
So you think the Farmers Day celebration is important? Yeah,
it's important. You see, because if we did not make like this, we go forget everything. When they're making the Farmers Day, there's more boys where they are coming, the cleaners where they are coming, everybody go think, say, they say today is Farmers Day. What can you do Farmers Day? My father is doing, or somebody is doing this. Because of that, they are making the Farmers Day. You can remember, it go remain for your head.
There are allegations that you use dirty water to water your plants. How true is that?
Yeah, they are talking for that one. For we here, we're digging hole to water them. If you see this place like this, they are washing cars for GBC here. How they're cooking there, the water is coming. For that one, there not be any dirty water because of the washing the car, not be anything. But we're digging the hole for the ground, the land to the water there inside. So when you dig the ground, you go see the water is coming small, you are doing the irrigation. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of your challenges?
There's so much challenges because of the water where you're asking me. You see, for the water program, it's water here. But I see the big men, they are talking the farmers, but the water matter, everything matter. But I didn't hear one day somebody say, okay, if you be so, make it, we clean the plant, how we make the pipe, the woman being the drain. They will make another pipe to give the farmers. That water is coming through for the river. No medicine, no anything. For that one, if the farmers can get that one and make the irrigation. Apart from water, money. You don't get the money unless you go borrow. The money matter to is warriors. Yeah.
Your crops, do you use fertilizer or manure to grow them?
Manure. I'm using manure.
Why do you use manure instead of...
The manure ain't good for the ground past the fertilizer. You see, the fertilizer, too much fertilizer, you know, fine. But the manure can make this thing, the ground makes soft, give the leaves. Because he said the leaves come fine. If you want to put fertilizer, don't put them too much. Let's get them small. Now you give them the manure, because here everything is go fine. The program where I talk, that two things, if government help you, we go happen for that one. When you come and dig this in the ground self and put the machine inside giveaway, so you can help yourself. For that one, when you get that one, you go help you properly.
Indeed, whether on a large scale or on a small scale, whether in the rural areas or here in Accra, our farmers need commendation. They've done well. I say ayiko to them.
The National Farmers' Day celebration was established by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to honor the nation's hard-working farmers. Rice imports in 2011 to Ghana were 485.6 million kilograms. That was a 65.5% increase in imports over 2010. Ghana's rice imports grew by just 5.3% to 511.2 million kilograms in 2012 and a further 12.8% to 576.9 million kilograms in 2013. Right now, I have been joined by Charles Kowe Inyaba. I hope I got the name right. He's the Programs Officer, Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, and also Ibrahim Akalbila, Programs Coordinator, Ghana Trade and Livelihoods Coalition, and they are currently with us in studio and to join us talk Farmers Day, take us through all the challenges, good times they've been, awards and all for concerning farmers here in Ghana. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so let me just take it straight to business. The theme, eat what you grow. Are Ghanaians really eating what we grow here in Ghana?
I would say yes, but we have challenges with quantity and quality.
Okay.
And these are the issues that we think over the past few years, even in regards to celebration of Farmers' Day, in regards to the themes that we've selected over the 30 years, we've not been able to work hard enough to be able to deal with the issues of quality and quantity. Okay. And therefore, challenges to farmers are actually in regards to getting enough inputs, getting enough policy support to be able to provide us that quality and quantity for Ghanaians to, want to go and eat the local produce. But yes, we are eating our local produce now. That's and gradually
nice. And before we even go on to Charles, I must say thank you for the rice, the local rice you brought us. I do enjoy local rice, and this is a boost. I'm going to eat more of that.
Yeah.
Yes, Charles, yes.
Yeah, I think this is symbolism.
Okay.
That we just want to tell Ghanaians that smallholder farmers in Ghana have the capacity to produce enough rice for consumption and for export. Okay. In terms of both quality and quantity. This rice is produced by smallholder farmers in Volta region.
In Volta region.
And then we have similar projects across the country. You go to northern region, you go to the valleys around the Kumbisi. We have similar projects, but there are challenges making it difficult for us to be able to meet our target.
Okay, so you can see the rice by me. This is locally produced rice in Volta region, and you've got to taste it. It's champion. So if you're going to buy jasmine rice, you're a lover of perfumed rice, and you worry, would Ghana ever be able to produce perfumed rice? We actually have produced jasmine rice, so you could go taste it. Champion, a really is champion. I've tasted it, so I know it's quality and in quantity. If you want in large size quantities too, you will be able to get that. Let me also try to find out how much exports are we doing with rice?
Currently, in terms of numbers, I'm not. I don't have the numbers currently, but in terms of monetary figures, we know it's somewhere around $350 to $400 million per year. Okay. And of course, that will mean we sort of finding that hard currency and importing all this. Meanwhile, we have the capacity really to do it here. Looking at the capacity for rice production, currently in some areas, you find that. Let me give specific example. I prefer Ohiama in the western region and some irrigation projects. They're able to get beyond 2 metric tons per hectare. Okay. But in some cases, in other cases in the north, you'll find farmers producing somewhere about 0.4 metric tons per hectare, 0.5 metric tons, which is far below the national average that we seek to actually be able to meet. So in those terms, yes, we are importing a lot, but we still have to do a lot to be able to catch up with the local production, so as to be able to cut drastically the amount of imports that we are currently doing.
Okay, you both farmers. Let me find out. This is a 30th celebration of farmers in Ghana. Are you satisfied as farmers today?
Yeah, if I must say, I think we deserve more than just a Farmers' Day celebration.
Okay.
Because if you try to compare farming or the agriculture sector with other sectors, and then you look at people who work there and the motivation that they get for going to work, you see that the gap is very wide.
Okay.
For instance, if you're looking at the health sector, when doctors are not properly paid or they are not given allowances, they go on strike.
They go on strike.
Teachers,
they go on strike.
They go on strike. You look at other civil service, when they were not given their tier 2, they went on demonstration and stuff like that. You go to, some people were complaining about the venue for this year's Farmers' Day, that the road network to Sefi Yoso was no good. And we have farmers beyond Sefi Yoso who labor to bring what we get in Accra to eat.
Okay.
They work without extension service, high cost of input, access to health, access to basic needs such as water, yet they are able to produce to feed all of us without going on one-day strike. Imagine farmers going for a strike for 1 week, how the country will be. Yet we are doing all that without
you may want to take us through that for a good experience.
yeah. The experience will not be good, so we don't even want to go there. Yet we are not getting proper motivation to be able to produce, to feed you, and for export.
Yeah.
So we are thinking that, I must say, let's put all politics aside, that we need to say thank you to our former president, Jerry John Rawlings, for initiating this issue of the Farmers' Day to award our hard work farmers for what they've been doing over the years.
Yeah.
But we are thinking that the way the whole award system is structured is making it difficult for most smallholder farmers who are scattered across the communities to actually appreciate what we are getting.
Okay.
Now, if you look at it from a gender perspective, we have issues with the way or the criteria of taking the award winners. For instance, if you're looking at the statistics, the farmer statistics, we have about closer to 60% of farmers being women.
Okay.
From the history of national best farmers, we had only one woman getting that award.
Yeah.
And then you look through the list of the best award winners. Majority are men.
Okay.
We will have majority of the farmers being women. So we are thinking that just beyond giving a big award to one person, you understand, can we have a way of making other farmers feel that so this award is actually motivating them to get it?
The award.
The award. We can have national best woman farmer and national best man farmer. If we think that the women cannot compete on level grounds with the men, so that we have majority of women who are also getting awards.
But will the women be happy about that, since we already are fighting for equality?
No, the point I'm making is that we are looking at affirmative action to bring the women in level terms
and
with
I'm
the
also
men.
looking at it where we are fighting for equality. Would they be happy that we segregate and okay, that is for women because you can't compete with the men?
No, the point, this competition I'm talking about. It
sounds more like sympathy reward.
No. We just want to bring them in level terms with the men. Even if you go to the academic institutions, they have percentage that is apportioned to women. Because looking at the history of where women are coming from, they are not level grounds to compete with the men for now. Okay. So we need to create that level grounds for them to be able to catch up with the men. So we can do that by providing specific awards at the national level for women.
Okay. Let me, we're talking about how happy you will be today. The banning of inland, especially rice exports, has it really helped in any way at all? You remember the
Yes.
rice importation,
Yeah.
exporting was banned,
Exactly.
importing was banned, so we
Exactly.
eat what we grow here to
Yes.
boost it. Has it helped in any way?
I mean, if you look at the quantity of rice that was coming from Côte d'Ivoire, specifically Côte d'Ivoire, which does not produce rice actually, so that means it's imported through the airports and then sort of brought into Ghana. Of course, the challenge has been the fact that in some cases it's even smuggled, you know, and of course that is loss of revenue to Ghana. And secondly, I mean, that's by way of ports, imports, and then by way of course also smuggling into Ghana. That has been a challenge, and I believe that has been resolved in a way. It wasn't good for the importers, the legal importers. It wasn't good for the Ghanaian farmers. In a way, it hasn't actually affected the production of rice in Ghana here.
Okay.
It has provided opportunity for those who are able to import to be able to maximize, at least sell at a price that is reasonably okay for them. Of course, for local production to be able to catch up with the gap that has been created as a result of the reduced inland kind of importation of rice.
Okay.
So I think it has been positive. But if I say today, am I excited? Yeah, for the fact that Farmers' Day exists, yes, I am happy with that. But as to whether it's really met all the objectives,
As to whether you are satisfied as a farmer.
I'm not really satisfied. I'm not a full-time farmer per se,
Okay.
so I may be speaking on behalf of those who depend on it fully as a livelihood and as an income means. If you look at the investments to agriculture over the past few years, I mean specifically looking at Metasim, and for the fact that we are in the 5th year, the last year of the implementation of the medium-term agriculture sector investment plan, you'd expect that the minimum growth that we wanted to achieve of 6% per annum would have been achieved at least in 2015 by investing more. Unfortunately, 2015 is the year that we are having an IMF program. Government is cutting on expenditure. And of course, the fact that from 2011 we've not been able to spend as much as we should have done in regards to growing agriculture to 6% means that we have actually lagged behind. And therefore, the support that is required to actually be able to grow agriculture to the extent of 6%, we've lost that.
Okay.
So I would say that I am not excited really for that particular reason. That after 30 years, we should have been able to at least know where our priorities lie and then invest it appropriately to be able to meet the demands of agriculture.
We also do import vegetables from neighboring countries. We have the land. Why can't we grow our own vegetables in that quantity that we need to consume in our own country?
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's an important point. It's an issue that we've been talking all this while. You go to Western region, to Cape 3 Point, and then you have to import vegetables from South Africa, Côte d'Ivoire, and other places for our foreigners.
Yeah.
Whilst Ghana, we have fertile lands, we have the manpower, the farmers who are ready to do that. If you are talking of vegetables that we import, then we will be looking at tomato, pepper,
Onions,
cabbage,
garlic,
onion,
all
garlic,
those.
and stuff like that. Where we need to always regulate the water supply to those crops. Now you ask yourself, I took time to go through the 2014 budget.
Okay.
And I realized that there is no specific allocation to developing our irrigation facilities. Climate change is setting in where we used to have 5 months of rains within the season. Now we have less than 4 months. About 3 months, certain times farmers expect rain between April, then we end up getting rains around July, which affects our vegetable production.
Yeah.
So we are thinking that if we want to address this issue of unemployment, the issue of local resource mobilization, we have to shift our concentration from just talking and then doing policies to actually putting resources to address challenges that are facing smallholder farmers.
To more actions.
To more actions. When we do that, at the end of the day, we are able to move forward. Now, we keep saying that Ghana, we have all what it makes for us to become a developed country, not even middle-income country. Because we are blessed with rich resources, such as the land is there, which is very fertile. We have the human resource, we have mineral resources and other things. How can we use small mineral resources that we get to boost agriculture sector, where we have majority of labor force dependent on for their livelihood? So we need to put more resources from oil, gold, and other things into agriculture. In 2014, we attempted, 2013, we attempted to put more oil revenue into agriculture. But at the end of the day, the actual amount that went into agriculture modernization was 7%.
What happened to the rest?
Meanwhile, what we were crying for, the only motivation that we think farmers can also get for paying taxes, like indirect taxes by buying goods and services, was for us to give them subsidies to motivate them to do. And you know what happened to the fertilizer subsidy program? There was amount allocated to subsidize smallholder farmers. By the end of the day, nothing came up. Now you go to rural areas where we have one extension officer to 3,000 farmers. We're expecting that there will be an issue in 2014 budget addressing that gap, which will give the farmers more power to be able to produce more. But there is nothing in there. So we are thinking that if we are actually serious in addressing challenges in the agriculture sector, these are some of the things we need to look at. We need to move beyond just talking. And then we go into doing the practical things that will take the farmers out of their old ways of doing things to new ways of doing things.
If I may add to that.
Yes.
The cost of production of vegetables and other crops in Ghana is quite high.
Okay.
Currently, tomato, for example, as a vegetable, you have somewhere about 6 to 7 metric tons per hectare being produced. But the national average should have been 25 metric tons per hectare. In some countries, they produce 80 metric tons per hectare. So, of course, you cannot compare someone who produces 6 metric tons per hectare to someone who produces 80 metric tons per hectare on the same amount of land with about the same investment.
Okay.
You know? So, and of course, we need some amount of training capacity for our small-scale farmers in regards to the use of pesticides, chemicals, and all that. And then I think in the earlier footage that you showed, the gentleman there was talking about the balance between manure and the use of fertilizer. Currently, I think our farmers, that should have been part of the program over the past year in terms of training the capacity, raising their capacity to be able to use pesticides appropriately. So anyone who wants to be able to enjoy vegetables wants to have low pesticide levels, wants to have a high quality, and then of course the farmers must also be seen to be making money out of it. But of course, if they produce at a point that the cost of production is quite high and then their prices are high, of course they become less competitive. So I'm thinking that there is a lot to be done to be able to overcome some of these challenges.
Okay.
And therefore, investments, appropriate investment, as Charles is saying, is required.
Okay, so let's also talk about the issue of post-harvest losses. We seem to really go through that a lot more whenever we are in harvest seasons. We seem to lose a lot of our produce due to bad road networks and all associated challenges. What is being done about that? What has been the farmer's voice for that?
Yeah, if you look, government attempted to address the challenges in the post-harvest loss management by introducing what we call National Food Buffer Stock Company. Yeah. The National Food Buffer Stock Company was supposed to actually address challenges in cereals such as rice, maize, and soybean. So they were to buy from the farmers during bumper harvest, store them, and during the lean season, then they release them into the market.
Okay.
So in doing that, they were reducing the challenges farmers have to transport their products to the marketing centers, and also difficulties they have in storage and bad road infrastructure. But this program is not effective because we have limited national food buffer stock centers in the various cropping areas. Now, in 2013, when we keep calling on government and the company to expand their networks and also to resource the sector to be able to buy from the farmers, government added 3. Out of we have 7 centers and they added 3.
Okay.
Now they are projecting to add 1 more come 2015. We are thinking that it's not enough. Imagine the number of farming districts that we have in this country.
Exactly.
What would that do?
Sure.
You go to some farm gates and even carrying a bag of maize to next 1 kilometer is a problem because of the bad road networks.
Yeah.
You go to such places, farmers are just looking for somebody. Come, whatever you give me, give and take the product.
I don't make a loss.
I don't make a lot. And you're not getting it. You come to Accra, you have to buy the same thing more than 20 times.
Yeah.
You go to vegetables such as...
I know that people don't even want what is there, but they also can't go because the bad road network is just not favorable.
That's the point. So we are not getting such quality products in Accra here, and they are rotted in the farming communities. Farmers are making losses. So we are thinking that this is a serious issue that if government want to actually address the sector, because private man will not go to a place to invest when he's not having the feeling that after investment he'll be able to convey his product to the marketing centers. So we are thinking that in addressing these challenges, we need to actually look seriously into our road networks, our storage facilities, our post-harvest management practices, and if you do that, we'll be able to reduce the losses that the farmers incur after harvest.
Okay.
In fact, the post-harvest loss, I think, starts from harvesting for most of our small-scale farmers.
Okay.
You know, most will harvest and, of course, drag it along to a particular point, either with a tarpaulin or a bare floor, possibly a platform, and you know, try to use something to thresh it. You know, by hitting it a number of times, it flies in various directions. You know, later on, those who are engaged in, there's the women who are engaged in helping pick it, and they use it as a part payment. You know, but so that's the point from where it starts. Okay. And the level of coordination actually between the various ministries that are supposed to reduce post-harvest loss is very poor. Okay. I believe the Ministry of Trade and Industry has a responsibility to be able to help Ghana acquire the capacity to produce appropriate equipment, appropriate technology to support small-scale farmers to harvest appropriately. You know, that is not being done. We still import a lot of it. I think we could have done simple things really to help. I mean, at low cost. And of course, at 30 to 40%, 50% loss of cereal in Ghana in regards to post-harvest loss. Storage plays one key important role. Storage is very poor. Most farmers store their produce in their own rooms, largely. We don't have, I mean, now gradually Grains Council is coming up. NAFCO is, that's the National Food Buffer Stock Company, is also coming up with a number of storage facilities and a number of private sector, but still it's very, very inadequate. And I think we need a huge capital investment to be able to turn the events where storage is concerned. Okay.
We're crossing over to speak to some of our reporters who are on ground spending the day with farmers. Over 70 farmers will actually be recognized for their contribution to agriculture and the economy of Ghana in 2013. 58-year-old Alhaji Awudu Karim from the Kasanananka district of the Upper East region was adjudged the national best farmer. Let's go over now to our reporter Gifty Ando Apia, who is at the National Day celebrations currently ongoing at Sefrioso in the Western region. We'll take a short break here. When we return, we'll get Gifty talking, briefing us on what is happening in Sefrioso. And meanwhile, we still have our farmers with us here in studio. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're still with us here on News Desk on Multi TV, Joy News to be specific. We have online my colleague, our reporter, Gifty Ando Apia, who is at the National Day celebrations currently ongoing at Sefrioso in the Western region. Hello, Gifty. How are you today?
All right.
Great. So, how is the mood like in Sefrioso?
Well, that is National Farmers Day. It's usually a one-way kind of structure. You usually see what you've seen in the previous year, or the structure you've seen in the previous year, in the year that you're in. So it's kind of the same. The arrangements and everything are the same. In terms of the packages that are available for the farmers, looks pretty much the same. The mood here, I can say, is the kind of calmness, because the weather itself is quite calm around here, and we're all waiting for President John Mahama so that the program will start.
It's not sunny there?
No, it was sunny a few minutes ago, but right now, as we speak, the weather is quite calm, which is really nice for us because we're standing on the sand. So,
yeah.
But everything, if you cast your eye on the other place, at this park, everything here seems set. Only thing we're waiting for right now is President John Mahama. I've seen a number of the officials around here. I just passed by Honorable Fifi Kwete, who is the Minister of Agriculture. I also passed by the Minister of Aquaculture, who is Honorable Sharia Ite, and I think they've just moved out of here. I've seen the Deputy Minister as well, Benito Kitigia, seated here. A couple of government officials all seated here in preparation for the arrival.
The farmers, are they speaking? What does today mean to them? Are they satisfied that during the 30th celebration of Farmers Day, they are satisfied as farmers?
It's quite, the network is quite unstable, but if I hear you right, you want to know how the farmers are feeling or what the farmers think about this whole thing.
Exactly.
Well, what I can say for now is that I've seen a couple of them around, and usually the farmers are really excited because, of course, it's their day.
It's their day,
so you usually see them, exactly, and so you usually see them with smiles on their faces here and there, and you would see with enthusiasm, the kind of enthusiasm that they brought to this program, hoping to take something home, of course. So they're usually excited. But then when you get closer to them, and as they've done over the years, they will tell you that they have problems with the fertilizer. Fertilizer, of course, has been one major problem for both cocoa farmers and all other farmers. So usually it's one of the problems that they will highlight. They will also sometimes tell you about how well they're doing in their farm and how the extension officers are helping them and things like that. So these are all things that we're waiting to hear from them, or probably hear from the award winners. But generally, I can say that the farmers are mostly enthusiastic about the program, and so it's quite difficult to tell if it's just the program they're enthusiastic about or that they are just excited to be farmers here in Ghana.
How are they taking in the encouragement that they should win themselves of the government subsidies and all and be very independent farmers? Have you heard comments about that?
Can you come again, Gladys?
I'm asking, quite recently, the Agric Minister mentioned that farmers should begin to win themselves of subsidies and all their likes. How are they taking that? Are they bracing themselves for it, or they have reservations about that pronouncement?
Well, Gladys, I have not spoken to the farmers right now to find out how they feel about that, but I will be able to do that in a few minutes. Right now, though, let me tell you about the awards that they will be receiving. If you look here on this pack, you would see the usual packages. You see cocoa branded pickup vehicles, cocoa branded tricycles. You see refrigerators, and you see there are usually boxes that are packed together on the house on the other side of the plant. Those boxes usually will contain Wellington boots and cutlasses and seeds for them to plant and things like that. So right now, I don't know if it's quite an encouragement for them to see, but what I have seen over the, say, 2 years that I've covered Farmers Day, the farmers are usually happy about the things that they get from here. I don't know if that is going to change, and I don't know if the story is going to change. All the farmers that I've interviewed on days like this would tell you they're excited about this, and like I said, they'll just highlight a few of their problems to you, and maybe tell you about how they wish that young people would be much more involved in farming and all of that. So I think that maybe they see the package on the field like this, and it's spread all over the place, and it's plenty like that, and it kind of excites them. I don't know. Or maybe that is really what they need in their day-to-day activities.
All right, Gifty. I will come back to you later on to find out how exactly the day is going, how the citizens of Session are taking the day in. I'm sure now the town is looking very beautiful, all decorated for the day, right?
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have been talking to our reporter, Gifty Ando Apia, who is currently in Seshiyoso in the Western region, joining the farmers to celebrate their day as they celebrate the 30th edition of Farmers Day. We still have with us our studio guest, and we're coming back to you. Charles, you quite recently, the Agric Minister pronounced that farmers should begin to wean themselves off subsidies. How challenging is that going to be if they should be taken off subsidies entirely?
Yeah.
And let me also ask, would that be feasible at all?
Yeah, it's feasible. You know, when we started making campaign for support to farmers, which includes agriculture subsidies in the area of seed and fertilizer, we never said that the subsidies will continue forever. But let me also indicate that there is no country that developed through its agriculture sector without support, such as subsidy to smallholder, to the farmers.
Okay.
We say this because we are competing with developed agriculture economies, such as US and other areas, where they subsidize their farmers. And sometimes they even give insurance to the farmers that if you produce and there's no market, they come and buy the produce from you, either they destroy it or whatever, so that the farmers doesn't run at a loss.
Okay.
So the point we are making is that for now, the farmers are still vulnerable. Cost of production is very high. So we need the subsidies, and we have an exit strategy that we are subsidizing you for 5, 6, 10 years, and after that, the subsidy will not be there. Okay. By then, the farmers will have moved away from subsistence farming to seeing farming as a business, and they get used to the business environment and the business approach of doing things. Okay. And now, if you are going out, we don't have problem. But a situation where we started with challenges in the sector, such as a poor road network, lack of market access, and you want to allow these farmers to continue to bear all the cost of production, including fertilizer and other things. And this, at this material moment, we think that is going to affect our food security needs in the country. Now, we're providing alternatives because we don't even want to continue to depend on the inorganic farming because climate change is setting and strange diseases are coming up. Our lands are gradually losing its value. So we are moving away from inorganic farming to organic farming, or we combine the two, where we begin to use the compost. Accra Compost have set up an industry to actually clear the waste from the city and then change that into compost for the farmers. We begin to use that. There's this doctor from Asante region in Kariye, Dr. Kofi Boa, who came out with a new way of actually integrating the organic farming with minimum application of inorganic material. We visit his farm, that was last week, and it's fantastic.
I see.
We are in talk with him to see how we will be able to expand the same concept to other parts of the country. So we are not saying that we want to continue to rely on government to give direct subsidies to smallholders, just like fertilizer, but they should also address the bottlenecks in the sector, such as creating more irrigation facilities, making equipping the extension officers to be able to deliver services to the farmers, making it possible for farmers to produce and get access to market.
In other words, doing something more permanent, that if they withdraw their subsidies, it's still something to help out.
That's the point. Now, the controversy that the Deputy Minister was making, because if you are withdrawing the subsidy, you withdraw it and we know. If you budget for it, you put it in the budget. There's amount allocated to that. You put monetary value in it. By the end of the day, you don't give it to the farmers. That's what we are talking about. Because you are not withdrawing it. So if you say that the farmers will move away from that, then don't budget for it. And then you provide alternatives. So at this moment, we still think our agriculture sector is vulnerable. And majority of us depends there. So we think we still need to support the farmers for some time. And we come up with exit strategy. And then when we take it out, we'll be able to compete.
Compete and move on.
I may add that it's because as a country, we've not really sat down to assess what subsidy means to us in terms of the social benefits, the economic benefits. If we're able to do that, then we can know what added value subsidies put to the economy. But because we've not done as a country, we think it is something, it's a gift given to farmers, and then of course we can decide to take it off at any time. And of course, it is good to go along with subsidies. Even, as I said, developed countries such as the US, EU are still giving their farmers subsidy heavily. And if you are producing rice in Ghana, you should be aware that you are competing with a US rice farmer who is receiving subsidies. Yeah. How do we balance the two? Because they come here, and the global price of rice, I mean, their rice is actually a bit lower than that, and then of course you have to now compete with them at that particular level. So we need to consider that and look at the social and economic benefits of subsidies, and then consider it as part of our strategy, and then we can then be able to measure later on where we've gained, where subsidies are.
Another issue we seem to be contending with is the issue of extension officers, agri extension officers. Do we have enough helping out, or we still need to train more to join?
There is still the need to train more. He mentioned that the ratio is 1 is to 3,000 in most areas. In some areas, 1 is to 1,700, and the like.
I mean, we heard from Secretary also that they find their agri extension officers very helpful. So if the ratio is 1 is to 3,000, aren't we in crisis there?
Yeah, we are in crisis. I've been mentioning some communities like Lema, where you go and you find some extension officers around helping readily the farmers. But you go to some particular areas, and you find thousands of farmers looking for just one, having just one extension officer. So it varies from place to place. But in general terms, there is still a very big deficit where extension officers are concerned. And the more training needs to be done. Of course, more innovative ways of even providing extension advice through the training of volunteers within the communities to be able to extend service to even their colleague farmers is also something we can look at. And I think some organizations have started doing that. So there are a whole lot of ways that we can actually be able to go through to be able to achieve the parity where extension service provision is concerned.
Yeah, just to add more to that, I think the issue of extension service to farmers is an important issue that we need to approach it with all the commitment that it deserves. Okay. Because if you allow me to just cite some examples, you go to northern Ghana where we have Wenku with their maize program. We call it Masara Naziki.
Masara Naziki.
Naziki.
What does that mean?
Maize for wealth.
Yeah, maize for wealth.
Okay.
Now, they recruit their own extension staff within the same farming communities, and they have particular farmers that they deal with. So this extension staff are able to visit the farmers regularly. At the end of the day, 1 acre of maize, they are able to get 100 kilograms of maize per that 1 acre. In the same community, the other farmers who are not getting extension staff are getting less than 10 bags of the same size of an acre. So this tells you importance of extension staff to farmers. Yet, there are several issues, several challenges that are facing our few extension staff in terms of their ability to move from their station to the farm, the farming communities. There are no motorbikes. Cases where we have motorbikes, there are no fuel to fuel the motorbikes to take the farmers there. They don't have access to new technology such as computers, internet access, to be able to also search and come up with new ideas that other countries are doing to improve their agriculture sector. Now,
when you mention all of this, is it that our farmers themselves are not pushing well? They don't see the worth of what their contribution to the economy, so they are not putting the things in place for themselves. Must it always be government coming in to help out with these?
You see, if you look at the agriculture sector, just take it like any other sector, like health sector, education sector. Before you have a doctor to start performing his work, he will have gotten guidance from somebody. If you take a teacher, he had guidance, they taught the person how to do ABC before he got there. It's just the same as farmers. If you're introducing a new method of farming, you need to take the farmer through ABCD, teach him you have to do ABCD, and you introduce that, Then if the farmer get the concept and you even withdraw that services, he's able to carry on with that. Okay. But here's the case, we have agri training colleges. You allow them, after their product graduates, you ask them to go and search for their own jobs. Okay. They are not recruited.
I see.
There's embargo on recruitment of extension staff.
Okay.
Unless an extension officer go on retirement or dies,
I see.
You cannot recruit a new extension officer.
I see.
So how do you now encourage the youth, somebody who don't have knowledge in agriculture, to go into farming? Exactly. Because the person doesn't even know it.
Exactly.
Some of us who grew up in farming communities, grew up in the farm, will be able to do that. But somebody who is in Accra, complete agri-training college, he want to go to farming. We have majority of them approaching us. They want you to tell them, this is how you start, this is where you start. It's very difficult because you have one extension officer and that person is supposed to reach out to more than 10 to 20,000 farmers.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
A serious imbalance.
Yeah.
Yes, Mohammed, would you add anything to that? Ibrahim, I'm renaming you.
Yeah, excuse me. You know, there has to be a balance between extension advice and then the ability to absorb the advice.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship, I think, which was mentioned earlier. I mean, the ability to see farming as a business, you know, and then be able to, you know, posit extension advice within that particular business environment is what we've not, be able to do very well where our small-scale farmers are concerned. And therefore, you have cases where even when advice is received, farmers find it challenging, you know, to implement. And therefore, they rather look at the cost of implementing the advice rather than the benefits of implementing the advice. So there has to be a balance of a sort, and I think government definitely has a responsibility initially to be able to create that environment, create that particular, you know, critical mass that is required by farmers to be able to start looking at farming as a business, and of course, actually looking at extension advice and then using it appropriately to increase the wealth of their businesses.
All right, so let's also quickly look at it this way. How much time would you need if you don't want subsidies to be taken off? Okay, so let me get it right. The subsidies, do you agree it should eventually be taken off, or you don't think it should ever happen?
Subsidies in some form will have to be, for example, we cannot critically always depend on fertilizer subsidies. At a point, we may have to revert it to something else.
Okay.
That will really help, you know, raise up levels of productivity, or even reposition agriculture to be able to deliver better. So subsidies, I don't think we can ever be able to take it away, but we need to be able to be innovative in the forms in which we deliver it, because we're in a competitive environment, and then of course where technology is concerned, introduction of new technology and then its adoption, I think government has to constantly support this over a period, and that is subsidy, and we think that is very important.
Okay, Charles, you also agree?
Yeah, I do agree with what he said, because just like you said earlier on, we are in global economy, and now that we are even signing on to economic partnership agreement, where we are supposed to open our borders to European countries to easily buy our products, it means that the competition is going to be more keen. And when you go to Europe, they subsidize their agriculture sector to the tune of more than 90%. So if you are now going to compete with a country like that, and then you are faced with so many challenges in terms of the road networks, and then the extension services, water management, all this is Dumso is here. So we are thinking that if you address those challenges, create more irrigation facilities, we don't have a problem with water to produce, provide extension staff, there is availability of storage facilities and market access. If you do that and gradually you take off the subsidy, I think the farmers will still be able to stand on their feet to compete with other developed markets. But if you want to take the subsidy out now without alternatives, it's going to affect our level of food security. Now, if you want me to just make a quick reference to what we said at the beginning of the year when the fertilizer subsidy was not coming, we said that it's likely to affect our food crops contribution to the GDP for this year.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened. If you look at the 2014 budget, you realize that the crop stock sector contribution to the GDP has actually declined.
Sure.
And then we have more from the forestry and then the logging sector, which we think is no good. Now that we are crying that people should plant more trees, we are crying against climate change and other things, we continue to cut down our trees without replacement and other things. We think it's not too good. So withdrawing the fertilizer subsidy for 2014 has actually affected productivity in this year. And that's why the crop subsector contribution to GDP has actually declined.
So government must really take a second look at that to ensure that our GDP from contributions coming from our farmers actually come in handy and help boost the economy positively. Before we wrap up, is there something quickly you'd want to make an appeal to the public, your fellow farmers? It's your day, so I want to give you that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I think I would first of all like to send our congratulatory message to all farmers in Ghana.
Okay.
Today is our day. I would also like to thank the government for creating that environment and then recognizing our effort. In going forward, we still want to appeal to the organizers of the National Farmers Day to take a second look at the criteria so that we will disintegrate it in a way that it will benefit all other people in the value chain of agriculture production, such as the person I just mentioned, Dr. Kofi Boy is doing fantastic. You go there and he's trying to address the challenges of climate change, the use of organic fertilizer and stuff like that. We need to recognize people like that. Our women are playing a vital role in the agriculture sector. We cannot continue to just give National Best Award, giving cars and houses to the men, ignoring the women. So if you think that the women are not up to the level where they are going to be in the same level form
to compete,
let's create separate award system because they are the majority in any way. So that we have a National Best Woman Award winner, and then we have National Best Man Award winner. We should also categorize it so that we have the smallholder farmers who are also majority, also being able to win award from where they are coming from.
With that one, I thought the district level, they
do, but is that enough? If you do it at the district and regional level, we need to also recognize them at the national level. So that the one who is able to win at the district level, get to the regional level, cannot be thinking of doing more to get a national award. So we think that we should also look at all those areas and then cutting across the value chain of agriculture production, we should try to award them.
Right. Ibrahim?
I would say equal to all our farmers and fishers, especially to the smallholder farmers. There is still a lot that could be done. We thank them for the efforts they have put in over the year to be able to at least make us a bit self-sufficient in our food. But I still think the nature and the form of celebration needs to be revamped, and that we should tie the celebration of the Farmers' Day to specific national targets and see if we are saying that we are going to eat what we grow, then what specifically is going to be the benchmark for the measure by next year this time around, so that we can then celebrate based on specific benchmarks, so that we can have the resources targeted into those things to be able to help us, gradually grow. Because I remember in 2000 or 2001 we had the same theme, eat what we grow. After 14 or 15 years, what has happened that we've now gone back to it?
Going back to that, it means we haven't been eating what we grew. Thank you, gentlemen, for making part of your time of the day to spend with us here on News Desk. We have been talking to the Programs Officer, Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. He's the person of Charles Howie Inyaba. We also had the program's coordinator, Ghana Trade and Livelihoods Coalition, in the person of Ibrahim Akabela. Right? They joined us in studio to spend part of their Farmers' Day celebration day with us here. Our viewers, please go out there and buy Made in Ghana rice. It is highly nutritious and it is very healthy for your body. You can start with Champion right by me here. It's grown in Ghana, here somewhere in Volta region. And remember, doing so also generates income and creates employment for the youth and our farmers in Ghana. So make sure this Christmas all you eat is a made in Ghana rice. You can start with the Jasmine Champion and tell your feedback would be very pleasant one. For more news, you could log on to myjoyonline.com for updates, for more information on our Farmers Day celebration here in Ghana. You could also log on to multitvworld.com for more news as well. My name, once again, is Gladys Osei Oredu. Do make date with us at noon for news today. Thank you so much for your time.